Welcome back for another video. It's Eharbad once more, and a little bit of a different video. We're actually going to start with a recording of Soulcross stage 17, the mighty Fireknight. So let me just pause there for a second before we carry on. So basically I did the fight, what was it, yesterday? No, the day before yesterday, at the end of the free regear. I recorded the fight, eventually got it done. I think it took me 4 or 5 attempts in total. And then I did record live all the builds and my post-fight analysis, which I'll peg on to the end of this video. It'll be like 2 parts of a video. So I'm going to start by talking about the fight itself and kind of how I managed the fight. And then we'll jump to the result of the fight and go through the build. So it's a little bit disjointed, but hopefully it will sort of just about work. So I'm just going to hit play here. We'll watch the fight together and I'll talk through it. So essentially, I started with an A1 from High Cartoon and got my defense buff up on Steel Skull. I have faultless defense, so I'm going to get 5 hits back there. A1 with Creeler and Sentinel, keep their abilities back and apply AoE reflect damage. Now, I'll pause it briefly here. That got me a lot of hits on the boss. So you can see 11 hits in total. We're down to 7 hits remaining to break the shield. But we've got AoE decrease speed across the board. So that's kind of why I saved my increased speed to go now to try and compensate for the fact I've got decreased speed on me. I am running everyone quick. We will go to the builds later on. And my mindset at this point now is to break that shield as fast as possible. So I will use Creeler's A2. I need to get decreased speed on, and I can use Snick Track to do that, or High Cartoon, depending on RNG. And I really need heal reduction, who's going to come from Sentinel. Now, Snick Track could actually be Woad painted, and I would say she'd actually do the job better. Doesn't bring the decreased speed, but does bring a better overall team healing. Snick Track has a Achilles heel in that he'll bring his shield, AoE shield on the team. And when you have a shield up, you don't get either the reflect procs or the faultless defense procs. They don't count if you don't take any health damage. So you have to take health damage. I found that out the hard way. So we crack on. I get that decreased speed out. Having that shield at this point, it is going to hurt me next turn. Because I'm not going to have any of my things up and the boss is going to start with 18 procs, basically, and I have to break through all 18. But because I've got the decreased speed up, I actually have enough time. I'm going to cycle and get rid of my decreased speed. I'll get a little bit of relentless proc there. I've got Creeler and Reflex. I'm going to get back to her ally attack. And you can see between a bit of Phantom Touch and all the rest of it, I'm actually able to just about break the shield right at the end, but I'm in a good position. Essentially, next time I'm going to break the shield early. I still have decreased speed up there, and I have a decision now. Do I put decreased speed on, but ruin my own ability with the shield, or do I not? And I opted not to, so I will get some reflection procs here. Only 14 hits, so I only actually managed to knock off 4. Probably giving myself the guaranteed decreased speed would have been better. But you see, this is kind of what we're managing. We need to try and get that decreased speed on as much as possible, and we need to get that heal reduction on. And I don't have Sniper or Master Hex on any of my champions in this fight, which really, really hurts me. But we get a little bit lucky there, and I can go in and try and get the heal reduction back on. And at this point, again, I have the decision. Do I get the decreased speed? Or do I try and get those procs? And I'm favouring getting the procs. They decided not to get the increased defense at that point, pretty much because I was clicking too fast. Basically, I should have got the increased defense up and got the faultless defense procs, but I didn't. But I think you can just about kind of see how I'm trying to manage the fight. By never using Creeler's A3, I'm able to prioritize the A2, get it back faster from Reflex. I'm trying to get that decreased speed on. I'm trying to keep that heal reduction on. And ultimately, I'm trying to use poisons from Steel Skull. We do get lucky a few times with relentless procs, but you need luck. So here I'm deciding to favour get the decreased speed because I'm just not having enough opportunity. Basically, that boss without decreased speed on, he's turn meters cycling so fast, we just can't keep those hits down. It's a toss up. And that's what I say Snick Track is a bit of a dual-edged sword. He does have that high chance decrease speed on the A2. It's 100% if booked. But because of the shield and the way the interaction works with faultless defense and the reflect proc, it's actually really pretty bad. You can see we got lucky again on Steel Skull's A1. That is pretty much the fight. There's really not that much else to say about it. I just basically run this same cycle over and over. You can see we've done, a third of the boss's damage at this point. Our destroyed HP is looking decent. If I did have Snick Track to be woed, I'd probably put woed in a curing set, at which point I could take even longer to beat this guy, knowing that I'm going to continually restore my destroyed HP. If we did have a cleanse, it would be huge, and that's why Tahanarak is so strong in this fight. Ironclad instead of Sentinel is probably optimum because you actually get a little bit of a mini cleanse in the A2. You get an increased attack, which can be useful. And more than anything else, you've got an A1 heal reduction. So in theory, you're going to have an easier time keeping it on. It isn't the big heal reduction, so there is that. Libergia is very viable in place of Steel Skull, particularly, I think, if you have that Woad Painted instead of Snick Track, because you have enough healing from Woad Painted to not need the bit of healing from Steel Skull on the A3, and you get so many more poisons, plus you still have the faultless defense through the increased defense. So there are other options. It is doable to do it without High Katoon, but I'd say it's much easier to do it with High Katoon, etc., etc. So I hope this talk through of the fight has helped. You can see actually I raced away 5 minutes in. We're like a third of the health through the boss. But it actually, if I skip ahead, he got a heal off there, another heal, and you can see like it then took a lot longer to finally kill him. The RNG did not go my way, and it was a real fight of attrition, and it ultimately took 12 minutes in total, pretty much. Like, if we keep going along, just keeps on going. You can see by this point my destroyed HP is looking pretty ropey. Like, this is not looking healthy at this point. And if we skip again another 30 seconds, actually I just skipped a little bit too far. Let's just go back to there. And we won it with an ally attack, pretty much ish. Got to break that shield. I was again optimistic in what we were doing. So we're going through. We got the decreased speed on. We've still got the heal reduction, and then we do get the win. And 259 turns later, 12 minutes 14 on the successful run. But there were 4 or 5 failures. Later, we have it done. And now I'll cut to my original post-run summary where I talk about the champions, the builds, and my thoughts live. And that's going to be the video. Bit of a video of 2 halves, if you will. The second half coming first and the first half coming second. Anyway, that's how we roll on this channel. Right then, I managed to get this damn stage done. Oh, it was brutal. I might show some of the video and talk about it later, but let's just look at Steel Skull, because basically all the damage was done by poison, and that's the key, I'd say, in this fight. Is your damage is going to come from poison. So Libergia would work just as well, really. Obviously, having the AoE heal did help. Snick Track actually helped quite a lot with the ally protection. Had Snick Track in a regen set. The A2 is a bit of a problem. I did end up fully booking Snick Track to get this done. I tried unbooked. And the problem was the A3. The A3 was on too long a cooldown. I don't think the A1 or the A2 needed to be booked in retrospect, partly because there's a real problem with the A2. It gives you too big a shield, and therefore you don't get any reflect and any faultless defense. So, I mean, it really helps with survivability, but it's a double-edged sword. The fact that you don't get the ticks from either the reflect from Snicktrack's A3 or the faultless defense reflect because of the shield is really, really annoying. I think they should actually have a look at that coding. I think you should get the ticks, the procs for the reflect, even if you are basically taking no damage because the shield's absorbing it. I think it's unfair, basically. Yeah, and that's kind of the main thing. Kreela, I ran in reflex. I did have 2 refresh accessories as well and a single revenge accessory. What I would say is I did not use the A3 at all. I was just maximum reflex, trying to get the A2 back as frequently as possible. And I would say I was getting it back pretty regularly. I do like Kreela in reflex for this. Relentless can work, and it does allow you to use the A3, which does increase your damage, definitely. But since I wasn't running any kind of real attack-based damage dealer other than Kreela herself, I was happy to forego this damage buff and just rely on the poisons and maybe a brimstone proc if I got really lucky. Annoyingly, with the way the Fireknight works, it's only intermittent as to whether you'll get the brimstone to actually proc. The Fireknight has to use his A2, which is on quite a lengthy cooldown and does debuff you. Could definitely consider running res as a result. Then Snicktrack I ran in regen with perception. 261 speed, do actually have a tiny amount of speed coming from area bonuses, so you can add 6 to everything we look at. 267, therefore effective speed, pretty good effective HP. He does take a battering with the ally protection up there. Tried to get a bit of damage in, which I know kind of harms the ally protection, but I needed to get some damage. Enough accuracy to try and land that decreased speed on the A2, which, like I said, is a bit of a dual-edged sword because of the HP level. I think in retrospect, I'd probably lower the HP pool to mean that shield is much smaller, but increase the defense considerably, make him much more tanky when he takes the ally protection. So I'd probably, if I were to do this again, I'd probably target like 50, 60k HP and more like 4.5k defense. I'd probably even consider bringing in some res into his build and sacrifice the damage because he didn't really do much damage. Sorry, I didn't actually show the stats on Kreela. 289 with the area bonus, bit of damage here. Don't care about accuracy. Again, could have thought about building some res. Tried to have a bit of effective HP. I was really looking for sort of 2.7 minimum defense on most of my champions, and 40k HP was kind of what I was targeting, and it seemed to work reasonably well as a base case minimum. Obviously, a lot of these champions aren't attack based, so you actually have higher stats. So if we go over to Steel Skull, pretty quick build here. 305 effective in Relentless, so 299 pre-area bonuses. Just shy of 3k defense, 50k HP, enough accuracy, obviously, to land those poisons. That's where all the damage is coming from. Actually, haven't shown Masteries. I don't have any on Steel Skull. Basically don't have any on Snicktrack. Have gone down to War Master on Kreela and do not even have Retribution, which would probably help a bit. And if we jump over to Sentinel next, Masteries. These are old Masteries that I had for him from a long, long time ago. War Master, I think, does work well here. But to be honest, you really want Sniper and Master Hexer, and you really, really want them on High Katoon, Sentinel, and Steel Skull. I'd have got a lot more damage out of that A1 poison attack. You know, got 2 hit with each being 35%. That would go up to 40% with Sniper, and then Master Hexer giving you a chance to extend. Huge, like super important, I'd say, for this to do it in a kind of consistent and less painful process would be get Master Hexer and Sniper. But I'm getting really distracted and jumping all over the place. Sentinel, total stats 265 before we add in the +6, so 271. a little bit low on the HP, but I was kind of three-way build here: HP, attack, and defense, crit rate, bit of crit damage, and enough accuracy to be landing the all-important heal reduction. Again, we're looking at what, like 70% chance once booked. Again, sniper would have helped, just that extra 5% and the chance to extend it to a 3-turn for Master Hexer. I would realistically keep the War Master. I think that works nicely. Get rid of the defense tree, go down the accuracy, probably pick up Law of Steel, Sniper, and Master Hexer. And at some point I might switch it over. I don't really need the defense tree on him anymore. Did get one revenge accessory. Triple would be better. Don't really need reflex or refresh. I do think Relentless works best. Equally on Steel Skull, because I'm trying to cycle that A1 as much as possible, I think Relentless definitely works best. On High Cartoon, however, I think I could have gone reflex. I think Relentless, I was never using the A3. I was cycling between the A1, trying to get that decreased speed, and the A2. I think reflex would work fine, but obviously Relentless is good as well. In terms of these, I got some of these Masteries done years and years ago. It's probably not what I would have done if I had a choice. I think Lasting Gifts and probably Master Hexer. I mean, ideally you want Sniper, Master Hexer, and Lasting Gifts, but I think you definitely want Lasting Gifts to keep that increased speed on as much as possible. Beyond that, Revenge, Refresh accessories, they're all good. Total stats, this is a pretty rapid build. 310 speed, 394 accuracy. We add that extra 6, gives us 316. Again, looking for more than 40k HP and above 2.7 on the defense. So it's a pretty solid build, just without any resistance. In terms of blessings, I've got 3 Phantom Touches here. Faultless Defense on Steel Skull and Brimstone on Snick Track. I pretty much ended up giving him Brimstone just to actually get the stats, which, like I said, in retrospect was probably a mistake. But I think it's a decent blessing for him in the situations that I find myself using him, which is pretty rare, to be honest. And that is kind of that video. I'm probably, I don't know if I'm going to do anything else on Cursed City, to be honest. I hated S14. I can't really be bothered with it. Maybe I'll try S18 and S19, but I just don't have the inclination to do it. S15, I would like, if I had another day of free gear removal, I'd probably give this a go, but I just don't have the inclination to play that much more this evening, and by the tomorrow evening, this will have ended. I also need to fix a lot of builds, basically builds that I've broken in trying to get this done. For instance, my chest piece for High Cartoon came from Arbiter. Where is it? High priority stats speed. There we go. Add that. Job done. Right, so I just need to go and fix all my builds, basically, and try and get my account into a decent state before this free gear removal ends, because I think for me that's more important right now than trying to do these final 4 stages, which, I probably could do. I think I do have the champions. If I could persevere for like 2-3 hours, I'd get this one down, but it doesn't interest me. This one I think I also could do. Basically, you're looking at something along those lines. Is probably a good kind of start, and then maybe even two Royal Guards if I have a look at the best teams. Actually, it's a Judge, isn't it? Where's Judge hiding? Maybe I can't use him. I'm pretty sure I used Judge last time we had this as the damage dealer in place of Talia, but it looks like in this particular restriction, that's not an option. Old Miscreated could come out, the old 50% AoE chance to stun. not too bad. Continuous heal and ally protection on himself, stun on an A1, decreased defense. Really underused champion. Would be nice for him to get a turn. And look, there he is. He's all over the place in this one. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably, I might have to build a better damage dealer of some description, but I guess I just gear Elhain to do it properly, and that would be sufficient. But like I said, I'm not really feeling it. And similarly here, I think I need to summon Rorik and then book Jetney, summon Rorik, and run some kind of combination of, you know, champions like this, probably with Rorik there. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much seems to be what people are doing. Actually, that's a pretty fast team. Double Soul Bond, Fodbar, Farrakhan, and Drokul. Drokul making a few appearances. This team doesn't even have it. So yeah, I mean, if you look at that team, it's basically that with Fodbar. Actually, I think it was like that, wasn't it? Or was it actually two Soul Bones, Fodbar, and 2 Farrakhan? So, you know, if I went and rebuilt everyone, in theory, that would get it done. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not that fussed. I'm holding this 750 energy for when the fusion starts. Right, that's all for this video. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.